Welcome back to Closet Cosplay, the podcast where we help you create con-worthy cosplays on a closet budget. I'm LJ.
And I'm Michelle, and today we are going to tell you all about some last-minute Halloween costumes because we are Today's Tuesday.
Today's
4 days away from Halloween. So at this point, if you are scrambling and you have no clue what you're going to do for Halloween, we are here to help. So sit back, relax, and we will let you know your game plan for Halloween.
So, step one, take a deep breath.
Yes.
Because I know it can get a little bit panic-inducing when you start to see that your timeline is getting shorter and shorter. But honestly, one of the biggest things when it comes to trying to figure out a last-minute idea is sometimes you just feel really overwhelmed because you don't have any sort of guidelines, and you don't know where to start, too many options, and then not enough all at the same time.
Well, and you could think like, oh, I'm just going to run to a store and grab something, but then you walk in and the shelves are bare, empty, there's no good options.
So what we've kind of tried to come up with is some stuff that you could literally, the actual closet cosplay.
Yes.
Stuff you're going to have around your house and in your closet. But there's some things, that's still a lot of options. So really the place that I would start is one, and I know I've harped on this before, what's the weather going to be like?
Yes.
Wherever you're going to be doing, if you're going to like a drive-through kind of thing, if you're going to a small get-together, that's going to be like the number one point for your guidance of where you want to start is knowing if you're going to have to work, because it's getting cold around here.
Yes.
Michelle is in a jacket and a blanket right now inside this house.
Yes. Because I am freezing. I always am.
So definitely I would take that into account of that's point one, where to start. How hot or cold is it going to be? And then the next place would be where it's going to be.
Yeah, I would say, where are you going? So once you know if it's going to be hot, cold, raining, whatever, I would think, are you going to be inside or are you going to be outside? So, a lot of places around here will do like the trunk or treats where you just kind of walk through and people have their trunks open, but that's outdoors.
Yeah.
And I know we did a trunk or treat at our church a couple years ago, and it was raining and cold, and we did not prepare for that. And my husband and I wore Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy that year. Mm-hmm. And my outfit was shorts and tights, and I was a frozen popsicle the whole time.
Sounds awful.
Because I didn't want to put a coat on top of my costume. So, probably should have thought ahead on that one. That's why we're bringing this up, because I have made this mistake specifically.
And I think everybody has to some extent. I can think of many a time I wore something way too hot or way too cold for the situation. And then outdoors especially, too, something to consider. If you are going to be outdoors, if you're not on a pavement of any kind, you're on some sort of even, like, yard or
field somewhere.
Don't wear heels.
Yeah. Or shoes, like white shoes.
Yeah.
Especially even if it just recently rained and it's not raining right now, like, it's going to be very muddy.
Yeah.
So wear a shoe that, like, you prepared for them to be muddy and, like, grassy and just nasty.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to wear your nicest pair of heels and, like, get your heel stuck and it ripped off in the mud. Like, nightmare.
I cannot tell you how many times I have stepped into mud with heels and just regretted every decision that led up to that one. So those are two of the most basics, and you could really take that advice for how to dress to go out anywhere.
Oh, yes. Yes, you could.
But I think it's really important, especially on the Halloween, because it's dark and you're trying to show a costume at the same time, and it's a lot to think of. So when it comes to the actual costume itself, like we said, you want to do something that you can get together in the house. And kind of, we were talking about this before, and I think really the thing that kind of gave me the best ideas when we were trying to come up with stuff was to look around my apartment, which is full of things like cosplay accessories or stuffed animals or, a particular color, and then I go, oh, I could use that one item and build a costume around it. So, like, an example of that one is I have a dinosaur stuffed animal that we have specifically from Jurassic World because my husband loves dinosaurs. And I looked at that and I go, oh, I could be the girl from Jurassic World. Like, all she had on was like a little button-up dress shirt and a skirt and heels and carry around the stuffed animal. Like,
yes.
It's a great prop, and it usually gives you really easy ideas.
Yes, like, I think the thing is, like, I said, for example, if you guys have ever heard of or seen the trend Disney bounding. Mm-hmm. So it's where people take Disney characters and they kind of do them in a casual way. And so going along with, if you have a stuffed animal, say you have a tiger stuffed animal of some sort, do Jasmine, right? Yeah. I mean, and you don't have to have the full getup. Just wear a blue color, bubble ponytail your hair, and carry your tiger around, and that could work.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's kind of when you're going last minute and you're trying to figure this stuff out, you really got to kind of think that way. Think outside of the box. Think more casual. Just an easier thing to put together. Instead of thinking, like, so detail-oriented, just think, like, how is this going to read? And can I use a prop to make it, like, take it a step further? And it would being a prop I already have around the house. So I think another example I could think of is that, like, if from when you were a kid you have a stuffed flounder, for example, or any stuffed fish, Ariel could be very easy. Yeah. I would think, like, her colors are what, purple and green.
Yeah.
If you just have that color concept, you could do it. I think I would just look at my closet, look at the colors. If something stands out and reminds you of a character, you can probably piece it together.
Yeah, and that's one of the things too. Is if like we've talked about it a lot on here, is readability. And if you go towards these iconic characters like Disney characters or very widely known popular culture characters, you don't have to put in as much work to be recognized because it's already in the popular culture group think of it. So that's kind of why we're leaning more towards, you should kind of look at brush with broad strokes.
Yes.
Broad strokes.
Try not to get super, super specific. Just find a prop that is like, oh, I think that character had that, or that was part of that movie. Or if you have a movie prop, like, we, oddly enough, have, like, one of the gloves with, like, the long...
Freddy Krueger?
Yes, the Freddy Krueger gloves, right? And we just have that prop in our house. Yeah. It's like you never know what you have until you start looking around, right? Like, if you have a striped shirt, easy Halloween costume.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff you do. And I've been a big fan recently of the stuffed animal route. So I think that really helps read in a lot of ways. One of the other things on accessories that some people may know about this too is it's trending to, like, do these recreation of 90s anime streetwear. So, like, Sailor Moon streetwear is really popular right now. And so if you don't want something that's, like, super obvious but still a little bit trendy to people in the know, and especially in the cosplay community that you know will be around and probably get it, you can do that. Because, like, I have, like, a little Sailor Moon wand, so that's the accessory that I would have. And, like, it's a very obvious. And then you have, like, the pink overalls with the turquoise socks and the, like, white shoes.
Cute.
Like, it's so cute. Like, I love all this, the streetwear Sailor Moon stuff. I really do. And so, like, and obviously if you have any wigs,
yes,
like, look at your wig collection. You'll get a ton of ideas just from wig collection.
And that's the thing. I think the fun thing about wigs, or say you have, like, an extensive makeup collection, you can do a ton with makeup. But if you think of your wigs, right, that's going to give you a different look immediately, no matter what you do. Just toss a wig on. Like, that'll be costume looking no matter what you do, I think. So, say, for example, you do a more generic costume, like, for example, I'm doing a pirate, and I'm putting a ton of layers on, which you don't have to put a ton of layers on as a pirate, but I already know I'm going to be cold.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to put a ton of layers on. But I have an option to add a wig or to not add a wig, but a wig just takes it up a notch, right? So, if you own wigs already, doing something generic like a zombie and maybe messing your wig up, like an old wig you don't care about, and, like, putting fake blood in it and making it messy, like, could just add that extra level. So think of your wigs. Think of, like, okay, maybe you mess them up. Maybe you put fake blood in them. Maybe you put them up in a ponytail and just give them a different look. You can get creative with your wigs if you have them.
Yeah.
I'm not saying go buy a wig. If you have them.
This is meant to be, what do you have around the house? It's almost like a creative exercise.
Right.
It was kind of fun to walk around and, like, look and see what I've got and go, what could I do with this? One of the other things I had is I'm a big Kiki's Delivery Service fan. I have a lot of Kiki's Delivery Service merchandise, and so I have, like, a dozen different little Black Cat Gigi toys. And it's like, I could just have that Black Cat Gigi toy and wear, like, a little dress with a red bow in my hair. Kiki's Delivery Service. Done. Easy.
Grab a broom.
Yeah, grab a little broom. No problem. So, that's what I would do if I was having to come up with a last minute thing, it would be look around the house, see what you can use. I mean, heck, I was even telling her, like, when I was a kid, I would just take a bunch of fake flowers and stuff and vines that we had around the house because my mother was a florist, and so we had a bunch of fake stuff too. And I would just wrap myself up and make myself a flower crown, and I was Mother Nature.
There you go.
So you can get a little creative with it.
Yeah, stretch your creative muscle. I want to go back to if you have an extensive makeup collection. There's a lot of stuff on Pinterest and on the internet that you could search and find these kind of makeup looks to recreate. For example, the mermaid look. If you have a pair of fishnet tights and some pretty eyeshadows, you could just kind of pat your face with those pretty eyeshadows through those fishnets to make that scale look.
Yeah, and it looks really neat.
Which I think could be really neat. I mean, hey, if you got a fish hook hanging around and some, what do you call that? Like the putty stuff you put on your face, you can put a fish hook through your lip, you know. You can be really creative if you're like a makeup artist type. I am not.
Neither am I.
But I know people that have that kind of makeup laying around.
Should come as a talk to no one at this point
yes.
who listens to this that we are not the most makeup or sewing oriented people.
Right. We're like, whatever works, works. However, I have seen people do really cute, like sugar skull makeup last minute if they've got that kind of like face paint makeup. If you've got simpler makeup, like a deer, people will do like just a cute deer, or they'll do like the deer in headlights look. Or something like that. You could get sticks from your backyard to use as antlers instead of going out and buying an antler headband.
Yeah, and it's funny, while we were trying to think of stuff for this too, like, obviously a lot of people will default to, not even default, but move towards the puns. So you say the deer, and I remember that we saw one that was party animals.
Yes.
So that's another way to look at it too, is like, if you can think of the cheesiest pun you can possibly have.
And make it a costume.
Make it a costume. Pigs in a blanket, party animal, chip on the shoulder.
Yeah.
Which is literally like a yellow piece of paper that looked like a ruffle.
Yeah. It looked like a ruffle on someone's shoulder. We laughed at that because we looked up some of these just to see what people did, and that was one that was hilarious. The serial killer. Yeah. You get little boxes, or you make yourself a box of cereal and stab like a plastic knife through it with some fake blood. That's funny to me.
Yeah, and so there's a lot of just like the simple pun stuff. If you don't have any kind of accessories, but you want to get a laugh out of somebody or a groan, which is almost sometimes even better, then you can go with the pun option. But there are a couple costumes that we thought of that are a little bit more current pop culture-y that might be easy to go off of.
Okay, so one fun one that LJ came up with, and this is a super popular thing that I love, is Among Us.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people are playing nowadays. But really, all the Among Us characters they just are dressed in one color.
Yeah.
So if you have a jumpsuit, or if you have, like, head-to-toe blue would be really easy because everybody owns jeans. Mm-hmm. You know, if you happen to have a pair of, like, red pants or a red jumpsuit, and you hold, like... Here's my thing. Cardboard and paper signs can be your savior here because you should have that somewhere in your house. You should at least have paper. If not, like an Amazon box sitting around. Okay, so here was my idea. I was like, okay, cool. Head to toe blue, right? And just make a cheapy cardboard sign that says red is sus.
Yeah.
And people will know what you're talking about. Yeah. And it's funny because people are like, oh my gosh, that's like happening now. Like, people are into it.
And that would be a good group one, too. If you have some friends that don't know what they're doing for Halloween yet either.
Yes.
Who's got all yellow, who's got all blue, who's got all red.
Yes.
We'll just go as Among Us. And, like, I think that's going to be a pretty... easy read for everybody right now because it's a very popular game at the moment.
Another thing I loved, another idea I had, that it's like, if you're going to go buy something last minute, go buy name tags.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Because you can use name tags for just about anything. You could literally write what you are on a name tag and wear the most casual outfit and make it funny. So I think, like, with Among Us, so many people will have, like, their nicknames be something with sus in the, you know, in their username. So just on your name tag, be like, red is sus, or suspect, or like, just something cute like that nods to it.
Yeah,
and
even if you want to do, like, a little bit of a twist on it, I know they have, like, a bunch of different little hats that you can have.
Yes. So if you have a weird hat...
Just put on a hat, and the people who play especially will recognize it. And going back to the name tag thing, too, one of the ideas, because we were trying to think of, like, well, what is just normal clothes, but it's still a character. So the name tag works, and especially, like, The Office is still a very popular television show.
Absolutely.
And so you could very easily just be a character from The Office and have the name, and I guarantee everybody would... I know some people have actually done Jim's Halloween outfits, which were always like super, literally just him in normal clothes, and then I think he had like 3 black holes on his shirt, and he was a 3-hole punch or something.
Yes,
like that.
yes. Like, you could do simple stuff. You could do
a meta Halloween costume.
Yes.
Another cute idea that doesn't really fall in line with what we're talking about right now, but I think they're adorable, is the umbrella costumes.
Yes.
I saw one where somebody did, and basically what an umbrella costume is it's part of the costume. So just what it sounds like. So like somebody did a jellyfish, and so they had like the little white streamers from each end of the umbrella, and then they've done like
a storm cloud, which is very cute. Like they'll do, it almost looks like, I can't really tell what it is, and this might be more crafty of a thing, but it almost looks like stuffing you put in a pillow, kind of like on top of the umbrella, and it's like spray painted to look kind of gray.
Yeah.
And then they've got what looks like streamers or rain coming down
and
from
you can just, and what's nice about those too is you can put it down.
Yep.
And so if you really want a low maintenance costume, it's basically like you don't even have to worry about the actual stuff that you're wearing at that moment.
Yep.
You just put it down. And so that's especially good for people like, if you're going to be helping a lot at a party or something like that, or you just need it for photographs,
right,
then that's going to be another really simple thing.
And here's the thing about simple things. I mean, if you are like getting that information overload, it's too much, you're trying to come up with something like super relevant and all that, and it's just too much for you, go classic. Like, just go back. Think like witch, zombie, black cat, ghost, vampire.
Please be the sheep ghost.
Yes.
That's all I want.
Because the thing is, it's like, if you were ever a witch and you own a witch hat, you could wear anything
and you're a witch.
Be a witch. Like, you could go as crazy complicated or as simple as you wanted. Yeah. I think with zombie, if you got an old t-shirt, which you should, I think everybody has like that old t-shirt that they're like, I don't care about this, I could get rid of it.
Right.
Rip that sucker to shreds. Make some fake blood, which LJ's going to tell you how to do that in a second, because I have no clue. But fake blood can be used for all kinds of stuff, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you just toss some fake blood on yourself, mess your hair up a little bit, put some, like, brown eyeshadow on your face, make yourself look dirty and dingy, and you got your zombie look. I think mummy could work if you got all white, right? Mm-hmm. I think with all black, you could do a number of things with makeup. If you have a flannel shirt, which I know a lot of people down south own a flannel shirt. That's just like a staple closet item. The scarecrow makeup you can look up is very cute. And even if you didn't, if you just had hay nearby that you could stick in your shirt, like that would read. And then lumberjack, if you happen to have a fake axe somewhere or someone owns one, you just carry that around. It could be cute. Even if you just grab like a log from outside that's carryable for a picture, I think that could read.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah, that's what we're trying to help you with. Is it pick an item?
Yes, and go with it.
And just go with it, because you will be surprised. Walk around your house, and even if you're not going to be doing this for Halloween, it's a fun mental exercise, I think. I think it's a fun little creative exercise. And really, like, we talked last time about the whole generic stuff, too, so we're looking over our list. Dang. We did a bunch of stuff.
We did.
Okay, so we'll just talk. I'll give you a little bit of overview about the fake blood. So there's a lot of different ways to make the fake blood. The way that I chose to get the fake blood, and I'm going to put a link down with the actual recipe with the proportions and everything. But one mistake I see a lot of people try to do is use like a food coloring or something, and that is going to stain stuff. So don't do that. The link that I use, it uses basically like a chocolate syrup and blue dish soap. I know this sounds crazy. It's like chocolate syrup, blue dish soap, like it's Karo syrup, and like water, and like it looks great and it washes out of stuff. Like I got some on one of my dresses and I was devastated because I thought I'd ruined this dress, and it washed straight out. So if you guys are planning on doing fake blood, I would highly suggest this recipe, which I will leave down in the link, because I don't remember the proportions right off the top of my head. But do be aware of, if you're like, well, I'll just buy store-bought, be careful. It might stain your stuff. So don't use it on something that you want to keep.
Here's a note, too, going back to the beginning, that we didn't mention to think about when you're picking your Halloween costume is think of not only where you're going, but the audience that's going to be there. So a lot of Halloween events are going to be, kids everywhere. So maybe leave the fake blood out of your costume if there's going to be a lot of children. I know masks can be very scary sometimes to people, so you want to be careful with the masks that you choose and also how long you're going to be in them. Like, those things can get sweaty and very uncomfortable very quickly. Also, wigs. If, you're going to be in a wig a long time, if that's going to be annoying to you, like, think about that ahead of time before, your hair's not done underneath and you're sweating and you're trying to rip it off and your hair's not done and you don't know what to do with it. So just think about who you're going to be around and how long you're going to be out is another thing to think about when you pick your costume.
Yeah, so to recap, here's your guidelines, here's your game plan. You're going to figure out what the temperature is going to be like.
Yes.
You're going to figure out if you're indoors and outdoors and what that what that weather is going to be like.
Yes.
3, you got to figure out your audience.
Yes.
Or the context of the costume, where you're going to be. Make sure you don't scare anybody.
Right.
Well, you know what I mean.
Unless you're trying to.
Unless you're trying to.
Make sure you scare people.
Yes. And then with the actual costume, look around your house, get an item, build your costume around that item.
Yep.
I believe in you.
You can do it. We are sending you off with the utmost faith in your ability. You can do the thing. If nothing else, go grab a blanket and find some paper, make some pig ears, and just be a pig in a blanket.
Or just be a sheet ghost.
Yes. Sheet ghost.
That's my number one pick for Halloween costume this year is sheet ghost.
If you go as a ghost in a sheet and don't send us a picture, we will be devastated.
I really will be. I might cry.
And you guys don't want LJ to cry, okay? So send her sheet ghost pictures.
Yeah, please. God. I'm excited to see how Halloween this year rolls out.
Yes.
Either way.
Very excited.
We've got our own costumes to get ready to get going with, and I'm sure we'll be posting those up pretty soon after. But with that being said, you should be sending us afterwards as well some suggestions.
Yes. We are ready for more suggestions. What do you guys want to cosplay? We want to hear it.
Yeah, especially because now we're getting into the winter time. This is everybody's how they used to prepare in the winter to go to war in the spring. We're preparing cosplay in the winter to go to cons, hopefully in the spring or summer. So use this winter wisely and get us in those suggestion forums that you can find. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram and
YouTube.
YouTube, technically.
Yes. Our YouTube is out there. You can find it.
But until then, I think we're all good.
Yeah, that's it for us. And happy Halloween, everybody.
Woo-hoo. Bye.
Bye.